Welcome to Renewed Mind Ministries, Busting Myths.
Praise be to God Almighty. There are a few verses in the Bible which are misunderstood or wrongly interpreted. So we are busting the myths of those verses. One such verse is Matthew 6:24. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. So this verse is usually understood as though we cannot work in two jobs, or we cannot have two masters, so we cannot serve two people is what people usually say. If you serve one, or you cannot be in the ministry and do some part-time work or something. So this is what people usually interpret this verse as, which is not the case. This verse very clearly says that you cannot serve God and mammon. Mammon means the world, the riches of the world. So it doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be financially well, you're not supposed to be rich. It only means that where your heart lies, where your hope lies. If you have all your hopes on the riches of this world and you do not have your hope in God, that is when you cannot say that I hope in God as well as the riches in this world. You cannot serve two masters. Either you will hope in God, you will have the trust entirely on God, or you will trust in the riches of this world, trust in the mammon. So you cannot serve both God and mammon is what this verse says. So when there is a crisis situation, when there is a very critical situation, you can identify where your hope is. If you are going in search of the worldly riches for the remedy for the crisis situation instead of going to God, which means you have your heart relied on the worldly riches, you have your trust in the worldly riches instead of trusting God. So this is how you can identify. On the contrary, if you have your faith completely in God, even it might be a very small issue, you can resolve it by yourself. But even then, you do not do it by yourself, but you go to God first and seek His guidance, ask His wisdom, and then start doing things. This means you have your heart relied completely, entirely on God instead of relying on yourself or the mammon. So this verse says you cannot serve God and mammon, because if your heart trusts in God, you are serving God alone. If your heart trusts in the worldly riches, that means you are not trusting in God. So this is not about working in two places. It is not about doing ministry and doing work. It is not about any of such things. It is only about where our heart is, where our confidence is, where our trust is. Hope this verse is a blessing to you. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe for more videos and do share this with your friends and family and be a part of this ministry. You shall be a blessing to nations.